So guys, I finally finalized one of my favorite builds, the Pyromancer Gunslinger. It's very satisfying to look at and play with. And with my setup you can easily clear Shattered Realm 80+. So every endgame activity besides super bosses won't be a problem for you. Let's go over the skill and devotion choices first. Starting with Demolitionist. I maxed out Flame Touched. The fire damage gives us a nice damage boost and it gets partly converted to chaos damage with the help of our helm. The offensive stat is of course also very important here, so we always hit and have a decent crit chance. I put a few points in temper. A decent amount of the physical damage we get from here gets converted to chaos damage with the help of our guns and with the buff from Abomination. And getting a higher defensive ability stat is of course also very important. The blast shield's main purpose will be the chance to avoid projectiles and the max to all resistances it provides. It also has a pretty short cooldown with only 11 seconds. Our main skill is Fire Strike, so with item bonuses I maxed it out at 22 points. Its damage gets completely converted to chaos with the help of this medal. Explosive Strike will be a nice AoE damage source that deals damage around our target. And don't forget, the physical damage gets converted to chaos. I put 1 point in Static Strike. You don't really have to use this skill. I just want to mention that it gets partly converted to chaos damage with this helm. And then we have a maxed out Brimstone that deals additional AoE damage. I put 1 point in Blackwater Cocktail and 1 point in High Potency, so it lasts longer and has a cooldown. This way it doesn't interrupt our combat flow much. And then the main reason why I use it is the next modifier. 1 point in Demon Fire puts it up to an 8 and gives us an 11% damage reduction, which is very helpful for this class combo since the Demolitionist and Occultist don't have the best survivability. And then 1 point in Agonizing Flames, making it deal a little more damage and reducing resistances a bit. 1 point in Thermite Mine, and then maxed out Hellfire Mine to get as many chaos resistance reduction as possible. 1 in Vindictive Flame, and then I put 8 in Ulsuin's Wrath. It gives a health leech and reduces target's damage by 20%. In Occultist I put 1 point in Sigil and 1 in Destruction, which puts it at a 11 with all the bonuses from items. It also deals the 2 main damage types, fire and chaos, and provides more life leech. 1 point in Doombolt. It deals decent damage with the bonus we get from our gloves. As many points as possible in possession, giving us lots of damage and damage absorption. The same is said for Solal's Witchfire and Second Right, giving us even more chaos damage, and parts of the vitality damage gets converted to chaos as well. 1 point in Curse of Frailty and 1 in Vulnerability. The reduced defensive ability and elemental resistance is useful, and Curse of Frailty itself gets chaos damage and reduces chaos resistance with the help of our 4th set bonus. I maxed out Blood of Dreek with the help of the Darkblaze amulet. The bonus damage gets completely converted to chaos. It restores even more health and provides even some attack speed, on top of the offensive stat boost it already provides. And with the help of Aspect of the Guardian, we can easily overcap poison resist and get a nice boost to physical resist as well. In my devotions I went for Abomination, giving us a huge chaos damage buff and even more physical conversion to chaos. I didn't go for Abomination and Dying God together, since I would lose a lot of points I need for defensive devotions like Turtus and Dryad. Let me show you the devotion route now. Put 1 point in green, then max out Spider. You can take the point back out of green, then put 1 point in red and max out Ghoul. It gives us some defensive boosts, max health, life leech and a decent defensive buff. Bind it to any permanent buff. Now we have access to Solal's Witchblade. It increases our chaos and fire damage. And the skill itself reduces enemies' movement speed, which is great for a ranged build, and also their fire and chaos resists. We bind it to Fire Strike. Now put 1 point in blue and max out Hound. It gives us a nice armor boost. And then you can take the point back out of here. With that we have access to Behemoth. It gives a bunch of benefits to our health. And Giant's Blood will be another great way to heal up. Bind it to any permanent buff. We need a lot more green points to reach Abomination, so next go for Raven. It gives a nice boost to our offensive ability. Then put 3 points in Hawk, increasing our offensive ability and crit damage. And with that we have reached 18 green points. Now put 3 points in Jackal. And then go for the right side of Abomination for increased chaos damage and another huge damage buff. Bind it to Doom Bolt. Max out Revenant. It gives Energy Leech, increased health, Life Leech, and the skill itself summons skeletons that reduce the target's movement and resistances. I bind it to Burning Void. And with the completion bonus, you can take the points back out of Jackal. Next, put 1 point in yellow, then max out Turtis, giving us a bunch of defensive stats and damage absorption. Bind it to any permanent buff. Dryad gives us some boosts to overall stats. But the main reason why we want it is for Dryad's Blessing, healing us and giving us armor. I bind it to Sigil of Consumption, since each damage tick of the sigil counts as an attack, so it triggers a lot with it. Lastly, I took the point back out of yellow and put the 2 points in here, giving me another 5% offensive ability, which means a higher hit and crit chance. Let's now have a look at our items. I'm using of course the full Darkblaze set. On the helm we get a bunch of boosts to Fire Strike and fire damage to Chaos Conversion. For the component I chose Titan Plating here. For the physique and armor boost. For those of you who don't know, physique increases our health and our defensive ability stat. And in regards of the augment, you don't have to copy this build, since your lacking resistances will depend on the rolls you get on your green items. The Darkblaze amulet gives some vitality conversion, which will affect our sigil and second right. The amulet itself and the set bonus also give a lot of skill points to Blood of Dreek, and with the acid to chaos conversion and attack speed increase, it really gives a nice additional damage boost. On top of all the other benefits, it also gives us an additional skill, Unleash Chaos. It's not the best damage wise, but you can use it to knock down targets. The component is the Seal of Annihilation, the best offensive choice, and the augment will be Osir's Temper, giving flat chaos damage, offensive and defensive stat. The Darkblaze Incinerator has an inherent skill called Void Rounds that can trigger off default weapon attacks, which our Fire Strike is. I'm using the Seal of the Void as a component, giving a nice damage boost and an additional skill that also triggers off default weapon attacks, dealing fire and chaos damage in a 3-meter radius. For the augment, I'm using Void Tar, giving a bit more chaos damage, but more importantly, health and armor increase. The last set piece is the belt. I'm using Enchanted Earth on here to get again more health and armor. My second weapon will be the Exterminus, boosting our Fire Strike skills, Brimstone and Explosive Strike, and boosting our Fire Strike with more fire damage. On top of that, it applies a debuff that reduces chaos and fire resistance. The component and augment will be the same as before. For rings, I'm using 2 times the Combustion Band. The flat fire damage and other damage boosts are nice, but the main reason why I chose it is for the +2 to Fire Strike, which will help us to max the skill out at 22 points. The Combustion skill is of course also a great addition, reducing chaos and fire resistance even further. I'm using on one ring Bloodied Crystal to overcap my bleeding resist, and on the other Runebound Topaz for the stun reduction. And on both of them I'm using the augment Osir's Temper. For the chest armor, my first choice is this one. The increase to offensive stat, physical resist and entrapment duration is really nice to have. It also boosts our Demon Fire skill, which will help with damage reduction. And with the permanent buff it provides, we get another nice damage boost, healing effectiveness and ether resist. For the component I'm using again Titan Blading. As an alternative, you could use this one. It gives you more points to Fire Strike, which would allow you to exchange one of your combustion bands. And with the reduced stun duration, you will overcap it at 80%. This armor also provides you with a buff that deals some damage, but more importantly reduces the target's damage by 12%. For pants we use the Demon Bone leg blades, giving a lot of armor and increased defensive ability. For the component I'm using Scaled Hide here. With that I can get my armor absorption up to 92%. The relic will be the Eldritch Pact, giving a +1 to all Occultist skills, and the Chaos Surge ability is really cool, since it bounces back and forth between yourself and the enemy, dealing lots of AoE damage and triggering on-hit effects. This is our medal, giving even more damage and conversion to Fire Strike, and making it leech 8% of its damage to health. The chaos damage boost to Blackwater Cocktail is of course great as well. And for component I'm using a Cane Spark, giving me some energy leech and offensive ability. And for the movement skill I'm using the Rune of Wretched Desires, making me jump back and reducing enemies' damage. I like the disengage ability since our Fire Strike is forwards ranged based, so we can jump backwards and keep firing. For shoulders I'm using Fabius Pauldrons. It has an inherent +3 to Fire Strike, and because it's a green item we get a bunch of defensive stats, like increased health and a lot of resistances. For components Sacred Blading for the resistances and armor absorption. Those gloves give us a nice chaos damage boost, attack speed, and making our Doom Bolt hit much harder. The component here will be Restless Remains for the health leech. Lastly, the boots are the crafted Stone Blade Greaves, to max out any lacking resistances. The component here is Mark of Mogdrogen, giving health and movement speed. Let me show you a Shattered Realm 85 run, and if you have any questions, just ask me in the comments down below.